Wow, I sure am glad I have all this time to work on my Little Nightmares video just in time for Halloween. No. The timelines don't add up. I have a whole month. It's not even December yet.
Halo.
I can't.
Halo.
I can't. I have so many other things to work on.
Halo. 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 Halo.
I am pumped about Halo Infinite. It's rare for me to be this excited about an upcoming game to this extent. Now let me be upfront and say that I'm coming at this from the perspective of a new Halo fan. I never owned an Xbox growing up, and I never got to experience any Halo game till they were brought to Steam a few years ago. This is actually the first time I can be part of a new Halo release, and I'm all for it in this case, because Infinite looks fucking incredible. My first Halo game was Halo Reach, because that's also the first game that came to Steam in 2019. I've also played quite a lot of Halo CE. The rest of the games I have not played and know very little about, so just keep that in mind when I'm talking about Halo Infinite here. Given that the only 343 Halo game I have actually played is Halo Reach, I don't really see the issue with them making this new game, but yet again, I have basically played 2 1/10 of a Halo game in my lifetime. To me, Halo Infinite looks like a fresh new ground for the series. From what I've been hearing about it, and from what I've played from the flight, I am absolutely ecstatic about this game. But first, let's get a timeline for Infinite. The E3 2018 Xbox press conference opens. The first thing is a teaser trailer for Halo Infinite. It's the first teaser, and it shows nothing. Anyway, 2019 Xbox press conference E3, also known as the last year of E3 before the tragedy. Let's just skip this boring ass show first.
We're looking at frame rates up to 120 frames per second.
You're breathtaking!
And now, a message from Keanu Reeves.
Image quality is super important. People have been indoctrinated into the 60 FPS cult and no longer understands why devs choose 30 FPS for their game. 60 FPS is better for some experience, but grants very little for others. More fluidity can be detrimental to the artistic intention.
The only reason why 30 FPS is used on console is because they were always
Wrong.
No, FPS is way more important, I personally think.
If it was so important, devs would have prioritized it in all games. We would only see 500 FPS games.
There is no game where choosing to target less.
Wrong.
They choose 30 FPS for their game because of hardware limitations.
Source?
I think we're getting a bit off topic here. Anyway, Project Scarlet is announced. We get a new Halo Infinite teaser that shows nothing besides people overreacting when seeing Master Chief. And it got announced as a same-day release with Project Scarlet being the Xbox Series X, not to be confused with the Xbox One X, but you can also get the Xbox Series S, which is cheaper than the Series X, but not as good as the Series X, but better than the X, not to be confused with the Xbox One S, which is the slim model of the Xbox One, which is actually the third mainline Xbox and not the first Xbox.
Mom, I want the new Xbox to play Halo on.
Tim Longo, the creative director of Halo Infinite, leaves. But it's okay, everyone, we're in good hands. Mary Olsen is in charge. Mary Olsen left 343. So then 2020 hits. Halo Infinite campaign gameplay premiere. 8-minute demo. Well, at least take me out to dinner first. Everyone was really split on this gameplay premiere when it was first released. The art style and visuals were kind of not very good, to put it mildly. So much, in fact, that the internet picked this weirdly designed enemy from the game and named it Craig and turned him into a meme, which I feel like that's a good summary of how well this premiere went. Now, I'd be lying if I said I was incredibly interested in this game to begin with. I kept up with it, as I do with most games, and this demo just raised a bunch of red flags for a ton of people, including myself. The game was marketed as something that would be a true next-gen experience, which is basically just a bunch of corporate buzzwords that mean nothing. I'm not going to be one of those people that is going to compare the fronts of vehicles from two completely different video games and somehow claim one is better than the other because it's more realistic. But whatever they had here seemed unintentionally looking, especially with the weak lighting and shadows on just everything here. Halo is not meant to look realistic, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't look good. Halo Infinite gets delayed to fall 2021. Apparently this was due to COVID and the result of multiple factors that have contributed to development challenges. Huh! Really? I know that they don't want to say it here, but given how close this was to the backlash from the gameplay demo, I'm pretty sure that had a good hand in this delay as well. But it's okay. We're in good hands. We have the third creative director, Chris Lee.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Chris Lee left 343. So after E3 was fatally shot and killed, Xbox decided to host the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. Big news drop, Halo Infinite is still coming in 2021, and multiplayer is free to play. Now when I first heard the free to play part, I kinda got worried. They reassured me by saying all paid content in the game is just going to be cosmetic. There also is no loot boxes attached, which is another plus. There will be a battle pass though, but from the sounds of it, battle passes won't be expiring, which sounds a lot more enticing than how many other games are currently doing this exact same system. I don't have to stress about buying a battle pass, only for me to feel like I wasted my money in a month because I wasn't able to finish it in time. Enough of that timeline, let's talk about the game. I was actually able to participate in 2 of the playtests from September. I logged a total of 12 hours, which I know isn't a lot, but you know, I have this thing called a life. What are you laughing at? I absolutely loved playing Halo Infinite during those flights. Even if I didn't play as much as I wanted to during the flights, I still had a lot of fun. With most shooters nowadays, they just have a really quick time to kill for that instant gratification. They lack that energy that really makes you feel like you did something. When you're running around in Halo Infinite, depending on what gun you have, you actually have to line up your shots to kill someone, which I know sounds fucking revolutionary. You have to fucking aim to kill someone, but let me tell you, these shooters nowadays, they do not give a shit. The sound design in this game is fantastic. Everything you use in this game feels like it has some sort of weight to it. Even just walking around in this game, you can hear that metal clanking sound, and it feels like you're carrying hundreds of pounds of weights on you. Oh yeah, and that art style that people complained about last year, completely overhauled. It seems like they made the shadows more dense, or maybe they just increased the overall quality of the texture work itself, but it's definitely a clear improvement from what it was. This looks like an actual art style, when the previous demo they showed last year didn't. Now, while I have high expectations for the multiplayer given what I played, I can't really say the same thing about the campaign itself. While from the second gameplay demo they showed, it does look like a high improvement, I think it's still too early to tell. So honestly, who knows what kind of shape this story is in at this point. All it needs to do for me to get into it is just to be enjoyable. When I was younger, I played video games because I was having fun. A feeling I don't nearly experience as much as I should nowadays, especially from the shooter genre. The flights from Halo Infinite made me feel like the critic from Ratatouille for a solid 12 hours, where I had this feeling of enjoyment out of a mainline shooter in the year 2021. As I was playing the game and doing goofy shit with my friends, it just sort of all clicked in my head. I was having fun, and I hope the full game can actually deliver that same feeling.
Gaming.